make the world go round. Yeah, yeah.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Are you a singer, a musician, or a producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Are you a singer, a musician, or a producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the listening audience. This is Sean Shivers, and I'll be your host tonight for Health in Harlem, WACR 90.3 FM. Having a little technical difficulties, but, you know, as you always know, I'm going to get through it. I have a lovely guest tonight. My boy Maurice is not here. One of our future doctors is stuck at downstate, helping our community. I just got here from Harlem Hospital, but I'm going to make it happen. Our guest tonight is the lovely Vanessa Austin, and she is from the HIV clinic. And our topic tonight is going to be hepatitis C. Now, before I start my story, Vanessa,
yes,
you know what I have to talk about. What just happened 2 days ago?
We
won.
Signed, sealed, delivered with our president.
Yes, we have. And I'm so happy because I've been talking about this for the longest time. President Obama and Michelle Obama,
yes,
They have been my mentor since 2008, and I've been, even though this is not a political show, this is a health talk show,
That's right.
which is okay, but I'm going to say what I have to say.
That's right.
I am so happy that this brother is back in office, because that just means that Obamacare and health care, any type of health care for our community is going to be much better than it was before.
Exactly.
So I'm so...
This is a true information warrior. This is a man that gets the information to the people
Yes.
and does something about it.
He does.
He even said in his acceptance speeches he's going to do something about the way we vote.
Correct.
And no other president has ever addressed it.
done that. And he even gave details. Now, I'm going to stick to the healthcare piece.
Okay.
He broke it down.
Yes, he did.
As to how he was going to improve the health care, not just for African Americans, not for just Jews, you know what I'm saying?
For everyone.
For everyone in the United States. And if his word or his strategy can be taken across the seas, his attitude was just like, so be it.
And that's what his mantra was, forward.
Yes.
You know how he got the vote? He told everyone, I don't care who you're voting for, get out and vote.
Yes.
And that really delineated him from the other candidate.
Correct.
Because he wasn't saying, vote for me.
Yes.
He was saying, use your God-given right
Yes.
that we fought and died for and vote.
Correct.
So quite naturally, the country voted for him.
And I'm so happy. And, as I was laying in my bed looking at the TV set and, the electoral votes, they said you need like 270.
Yes.
He got like 300 plus, and the other candidate only got 208.
Exactly.
That just says something.
It does. It says the American people are smart.
Yes.
And that we can take information and digest it correctly and come to our own conclusion. And it's saying that the face of America is changing.
It is. It is.
The face of America is looking more diversified every day.
It's changing, it's more diversified, and it's much younger, because what I'm hearing is that, I think you have to be at least 18 to vote.
Yes, you do.
And I know that there's individuals out there who were 18, because I know they were standing in line with me.
That's right.
Trying
They were voting
to vote.
for the first time.
Yes.
And how historic. And, that brings us to the point in this country where health care can be affordable for everyone. And that's a wonderful segue into our show tonight.
Excellent.
Because we're going to talk about the makeup of this country and the diversity and what we have to do to protect our health.
Excellent. So before we start, and I'm just going to throw it out there, if you have any comments on Obama winning or any comments at all about the election, because as I said, even though this is a healthcare show,
Healthcare won.
Something magnificent just happened on Tuesday, and I want you to speak your piece. Call us, talk about it. But you can call 212-650-6903. That's 212-650-6903. Now, Vanessa, about I'm going to say over the summertime.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, over the summertime, I was walking down Fifth Avenue heading to work, and I heard somebody say, Mr. Shivers, and I turned around, and it was Miss Austin. And Miss Austin said, you know what, Sean, we need to have a segment on hepatitis C because it has increased dramatically here, in the country and also here in Harlem. And I had said, Vanessa, at some point in time, I'm going to try my best to get you on the show, and voila, she's here. So can you...
Short notice, too, I mean.
So can you what is hepatitis C?
Well, let's talk about hepatitis.
Okay.
Hepatitis is an infection of the liver. Hepatitis is something that people really don't talk about nowadays, but hepatitis means inflammation of the liver. There's several viruses that cause hepatitis. It can be caused by such things as drinking too much, alcohol, breathing in dangerous chemicals or fumes, getting dangerous chemicals on your skin. Hepatitis C, or Hep C as it's called for short, can cause an ongoing chronic infection. Many people with hepatitis C don't get sick or even know they have it, but some people can develop serious health problems, especially after being infected for 10, 20, or even 30 years. So hepatitis basically means inflammation of the liver.
Okay. So now, let's break this down in very simple terms. Now, my thing is that have you ever had to explain this to a patient at all as far as hepatitis at all?
Of course.
How would you like now see, let's say I'm a patient, I just walked into the clinic and I took a test and you found out that I had hepatitis C. How would you break this down to me as far as what I have?
Okay, first of all, at Harlem Hospital, I can't speak for anyone where else.
Okay.
But at Harlem Hospital, we encourage our patients to have a primary care provider.
Yes.
So a lot of people in our community, unfortunately, get their care in the emergency room. And one of the first things the emergency room provider tells the patient is to follow up in our medical clinic. So once you have a primary care provider and you have that provider do a comprehensive testing for you, then they can find out exactly what's going on. And the nice thing about at Harlem Hospital Center is once those tests are run and the results come in, you have a licensed, understanding person who and trust break it down for you in the terms in which you can understand.
Excellent.
As you know, Harlem Hospital is very diverse population that we serve.
Yes, it is.
So depending on who we're talking to is how we would break it down, and depending on the questions that the patient would ask.
Gotcha.
But we do have a booklet
Okay.
all about viral hepatitis that we give to our patients, and we can get it in various languages. And it's very simply, it breaks down what is viral hepatitis. It talks about all the types of hepatitis because, there's A, B, C, D, and E. And there's even now a new G that they found out.
Oh, shoot,
And then
G.
we talk about, how it's spread, which ones are develop into a chronic illness, which is B and C. And we explain to them that there is treatment that they might be eligible for. We have to find out, variables in their life. So it's a very personal thing. But the bad news is that the African American community is highly susceptible to hepatitis C because of a variety of reasons we'll talk about later.
Got you.
But the good news is that we are more than likely to get the treatment and be cured. 80% of the people who are chronically ill with hepatitis C can get the treatment and it can be successful.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
But the trick is to know if you have it or not, to get tested, to get diagnosed. And it brings me right back to having a primary care provider who can run lab work. And you can ask them, I want the Hep C test, I want the HIV test, I want to know if I have STDs. You have to be honest with your provider and tell them that you want to run a comprehensive lab work so you can find out what's going on.
So basically, outside of the symptoms, and we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Okay.
Would hepatitis be something that your primary care physician would check automatically, or is that just something you would have to request?
Not necessarily. There is one instance where the providers automatically check for Hep C, and that's people who are infected with HIV.
Got you.
In the clinic, in the Harlem Family Center, we test every patient who walks in the door with HIV for Hep C.
Okay.
Not only Hep C, but a comprehensive list of a panel of lab work. So it's very important that we find out for a person who is HIV infected if they have Hep C.
Got you.
But if a person is going to their provider, they should ask, especially if they know. We'll talk about the risk factors in a minute, but especially if they know they're in that category of people with high risk.
Oh.
And people should not be afraid to ask their provider for tests.
You should not be.
That's what they're there for. That's why you should get your care.
That's why they get paid.
That's why you should get your care in the clinic with your primary care provider, and not in the emergency room. Because in the emergency room, you might not have the availability to all of the testing that you would have if you had a provider.
Makes sense. You're listening to Health in Harlem on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And again, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, just want to give me a shout out, you can call 212-650-6903. That's 212-650-6903. We will be right back in a moment.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
If you know the symptoms and get the facts, you'll know the signs of a heart attack. Women, listen to me, and when I'm done, if it sounds familiar, call 911.
Pain in your neck, chest,
arms or jaw,
shortness of breath.
Please tell us more. Cold sweats and nausea, tiredness.
It's time to take it
serious. Back pain, stomach pain, shortness of breath. cold sweats, nausea, dizziness. If you know the symptoms and heed the signs, you'll be around for a long, long time. Women, listen to me, and when I'm done, if any sound familiar, call 911.
Learn a song that could save your life. Get a free download at womenshealth.gov/heart attack.
Women, listen to me, and when I'm done, if any sound familiar, call 911. If any sound familiar, call 911.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
911.
Hi, I'm Vinny B of the Vinny B Showcase. Tune in every Thursday from 8 to 12 midnight for some solid cultural roots music and some sweet lovers rock. Also, informative interviews and giveaways. Right here on the Vinny B Showcase every Thursday, 8 through 12 midnight on Whcr 90.3 FM. Peace.
Said I'm black, I'm tougher than rock.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. This is Sean Shivers, Health in Harlem, WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And I want to apologize because I don't have any music. And what I have to do, and I don't mind putting my business out because I'm very transparent, is that I need to put my music in my bag so I have it. Because, again, my boy Mo is not here. One of our future doctors is stuck down at downstate doing his thing, helping out the community down there. But we're going to get through this. Again, tonight we have the lovely Vanessa Austin. She's from the HIV clinic. And tonight's topic is that we're talking about is hepatitis C. Now, we might as well just jump right into it, Vanessa. As far as what are the symptoms and the risk factors of hepatitis? I mean, for instance, let's just say that I didn't go to the doctor, get myself checked. Mm-hmm. What would happen to my body to make me want to say, you know what, I might need to go get checked for hepatitis?
Unfortunately, hepatitis, the transmission is blood-to-blood contact. Okay. There are many ways to prevent getting hep C to someone. Okay, so if you think about people that, substance abusers, mm-hmm. sharing needles is one way to transmit. Sexual transmission is uncommon, but it can occur. Okay. You know, so safer sex practices using latex condoms mm-hmm. will reduce the risk. Don't share personal items like razors, nail clippers, toothbrushes, or pierced earrings. You know, people have to be very careful, especially in our community, going to the nail salon mm-hmm. and all the kind of stuff, because using something that might have had blood on it, even if you don't see it, it's a risk. You have to have people cover their open sores and wounds. Mm-hmm. And a mother can transmit hep C to her baby during pregnancy or at birth. But mm-hmm. it's uncommon, but it is possible. The problem is many symptoms of hep C, the most important symptom of hep C is none. That's the most common symptom. But some people, they feel tired, or they start feeling sick in their stomach, or having mm-hmm. pain around the stomach, or muscle and joint pain, feeling down, having like a brain fog. Some people say they feel like they have a mild flu. But here's the thing. Anytime you don't feel of your optimal best, yes. when you have a primary care doctor, you can go get yourself checked out.
Yeah, go get yourself checked.
So when you're not feeling quite right, mm-hmm. that's a signal to the body is telling you, go take care of yourself. You know, in our community, we take care of everyone. We take care of the people at work.
Except ourselves. You're right.
We take care of everyone mm-hmm. except ourselves. But you know what? The people that use us for support mm-hmm. won't have that support system if we're not there.
You're right. You're right. And as I said in the past on the show, is that when I took my healthcare administration class at Lehman, back when, my first day of class, the professor said, is there anyone in here who is in pain or just do not feel comfortable. And everybody was looking at each other, and he said, seriously, is there anybody in here who just don't feel well or in pain? And almost everybody raised their hand.
Exactly.
And it gets to the point where
you
ignore it. You're walking around sick, in pain, to the point where you forget that you are in pain, and you think it's something normal, and it's not.
We're desensitized to our health problems, and it's unfortunate because of our community. We have so many other stressors. You know, I'm going to give you some healthy tips. You know, seeing your healthcare provider for regular checkups, and Harlem Hospital has a wonderful program for people who are uninsured or underinsured. They can go in and talk to a financial officer, and maybe they're eligible for insurance, or maybe they can get the HHC options for the small copay. So, you know, seeing a provider is vitally important. Eating a healthy and balanced diet. That's the other thing that's the problem in our community, our diet. When you don't eat healthy and have vegetables and fresh fruit in your diet, it taxes your liver. So these are the things that exacerbate Hep C. Resting when you're tired. We're always running on fumes.
Always on a run.
We're not resting.
5 hours of sleep when you need more than that.
We're not resting like we're supposed to. We're not getting the amount of rest that the body needs. Exercising, even if it's just walking around the block or taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator, you know, walking to the store instead of driving to the store, anything that we can do. You know, getting the Hep A and the Hep B vaccines. You know, that's something that really we can do it. You know, when you get a new job, they ask you, have you had the Hep B vaccination? I know at Harlem Hospital, we had to all get it before we got our job.
Correct. You're right.
So, you know, and being a healthcare provider, you have to be very, very, very cautious of your health. And, you know, cutting down on things like alcohol and substances, those kind of things, they attack the body. So when you trying to build up your immune system, those things break it down. And being careful using over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol and drinking alcohol. All of these things affect the liver. They attack the liver. So you have to be very, very careful. And, you know, a lot of people mix herbs and alcohol and different home remedies. You have to be very careful with that. You have to talk to your provider. Even if you're thinking something is from the health food store and it's perfectly good for you, let your doctor know, because it might be counterproductive with your medication or for your own health.
Now, one thing I want to mention is that, and you know, I'm not a medical, but someone with a medical background. But to my understanding of the liver is the organ in your body that filters your blood.
The liver has 500 functions. The liver is the go-to organ. The liver breaks down your medication.
I got you.
It breaks down the poisons in your body.
Got you.
It is like your filter. It's like when you put on coffee in the morning and you put the filter in there. That's your liver.
It's your filter. So basically, if you have these toxins in your blood or toxins in your body, your liver is trying to get rid of it. And then you have these, you know, at some point, your liver is damaged and it can't filter them out.
And the other thing is that because of our diet, some of us have what's called fatty liver. And sometimes people who drink, they have cirrhosis of the liver. So you have, the liver is just working overtime. You know, there are certain people who have hepatitis C and can't get the treatment because of obesity. So it's a very personal experience. You have to really have a gastroenterologist who understands your body. And that's why I said it's so important for you to have a doctor, because your doctor will refer you to the specialist. So it's very important that we get these things checked out, because it's preventable. It can exacerbate to the point where you need dialysis or you could die.
So basically your liver just breaks down on you.
Going unchecked, of course. So it is vitally important that we understand what our risks are and who are the people at risk.
Now, one thing I want to mention, and you know, as a lot of the listeners know, that you know I have a culinary background, and one of the first things, you know, that you learn is that when it comes to hepatitis, you can catch hepatitis by being in contact with, and I'm going to say feces, because the main thing they always say is wash your hands. When you go to the bathroom and you don't wash your hands, sometimes you might not know. You might get something micro or something on your hands. And I heard that another one of the main things how you can contact or contract hepatitis A, B, or C is that not properly washing your hands.
Okay, well, there are, like I said, hepatitis A is when an infected person's feces gets in another person's mouth through food, water, unwashed hands. That's A. B is spread through an infected person's body fluid,
Okay.
often during sex or when sharing needles or injection drugs.
Okay.
C is spread through bodily fluids, today mainly through sharing needles or, personal items that had blood on it, that kind of thing, sex. D is called delta hepatitis and can occur in combination with B. And E is spread like A, which is through the food or unwashed hands and feces and like that, but it's not common in this country. So our most common hepatitis, viral hepatitis, is B and C.
B and C.
Exactly.
B
And
and C.
a lot of people in our community who were substance abusers in the past contracted hepatitis C, never knew they had it, and spread it to a partner through sexual contact.
So now the question I have is that you mentioned A, B, C, D, and E, and then you also mentioned the G, I believe, earlier.
Yeah,
so my thing is that the higher the letter, is that more intense?
It's just the history of hepatitis C. We didn't know hepatitis C until the 80s, until 1989.
Okay.
We were diagnosing people with hepatitis A and B, and then there was another hepatitis which we call non-A, non-B. So 90% of the people who had that non-A, non-B in 1989, we discovered that it was hepatitis C. So, that's as we go on and technology improves, we now know that what it is. In 1991, they approved the medication interferon, to treat hepatitis C. In 1992, they just, things go by the numbers. So we find out what drug works and what drug works for most people, and on and on. Now they're going to develop something like a protease inhibitor, like what we use for HIV for hepatitis C. So they're developing, the technology is really going on.
So actually we have a call, and I'm about to answer the phone in just 1 second. So caller, give me just 1 second. The question I have for you, Vanessa, is that, you're talking about that it has increased in the community. Is there like an age bracket as far as increased the most?
Yeah, the age bracket is from the 20s to the 40s.
Okay, give me one. I'm going to put you on hold. Okay, hold on 1 second, all right? We have a call. Let me try to put the caller on the air. Give me 1 second. And caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Can you hear? Okay. This is my first time working as part of the board, but I thank you for hanging in there with me. Okay.
No problem.
So what is your name? Where you're calling from, and what is your question? Your comment?
My name is Valerie, and I'm calling from Harlem Hospital. And my question is: it sounds like you can catch Hep C at any age. What is considered successful treatment?
You caught that? You heard that, Vanessa?
Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, you can catch it at any age. It doesn't discriminate. It's a non-discriminatory virus. You could be a man or a woman. It does affect women a little differently than it affects men. And successful treatment is determined by your gastroenterologist and you. So some people are candidates for treatment and some people aren't. So that's really a person. There's no one set answer. You really have to sit down with your provider, and your provider will decide what's the best course of treatment for you.
I have another part of that question.
Okay.
You have another question?
If you've had hepatitis C and you've had the treatment, you're always susceptible to it. It never goes away, right?
It never goes away, but you're not susceptible to it. The virus is always in your body.
That's what I heard too.
But you're not, you don't really have it anymore. The virus is in your body. It's
like dormant somewhat?
It's like you have a cold. Okay. We always have that cold virus in our body, but we're not always suffering from the cold. It's kind of the easiest way I could explain it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for calling. Have a good night, okay?
Bye.
Yeah. So you're listening to Health in Harlem on Whcr 90.3 FM New York. We're going to take another break, and we will be right back. Again, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, or just want to give me a shout out, I appreciate it. Call 212-650-6903. That's 212-650-6903. We will be right back.
I have to
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Are you a singer, a musician, or producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio.
Greetings, this is Honey from Harlem 411. Tune in to Harlem 411 Friday nights at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for information on health, education, housing, community events, and more. Harlem 411 serves information to you with the opportunity to call in with your questions. Harlem 411 produced to serve the community's needs. Let us serve you with information. Friday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Harlem 411.
Hi, I'm Vinny B of the Vinny B Showcase. Tune in every Thursday from 8 to 12 midnight for some solid cultural roots music and some sweet lovers rock. Also, informative interviews and giveaways. Right here on the Vinny B Showcase every Thursday, 8 through 12 midnight on WHCR 90.3 FM. Peace.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the listening audience. This is Sean Shivers, and I'm back again for our third segment of Health in Harlem. And again, tonight we have the lovely Miss Vanessa Austin from the HIV clinic, and our topic tonight is hepatitis C. But before we continue talking about this deadly disease that is affecting our community, we have a couple of announcements. Vanessa, you want to start off with your announcement?
Yeah, Harlem Hospital is hosting a World AIDS Day event in collaboration with the Friends of Harlem, ARC, Life Network, Smart University, New Mount Zion Baptist Church, and Coalition on Positive Health Empowerment. We're having a World AIDS Day Health Forum on Friday, November 30th, 2012 from 3 to 6. There will be networking, guest speakers, live performances, and refreshments will be served. We'll also have free flu shots, HIV testing, and Hep C screening. So come on out and have a good time and empower yourself and fellowship with us.
Yeah, this seems like a, one thing I definitely got to say is that, and that's one thing I love about this show, is that Harlem Hospital, there's a lot of events that's going on for the betterment of the community. Definitely. And a lot of times the community has no knowledge of it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel honored, especially as far as forums like this, getting it out to the community, I also have a couple of announcements right here. First thing I want to mention is that I know, talking about good forums or excellent forums, is that there was going to be a bone marrow drive at Harlem Hospital, but due to the weather, it was going to be on November 14th. That has been postponed to another date next year. So as soon as I find that out, I'm going to make sure that everybody knows as far as what that new date is, And one thing that I want to mention, one thing that we're now going to start doing here on the radio station is that, last week, we had a deadly Hurricane Sandy, which affected the whole community. Yes. And I'll be totally honest with you. If you lived in the Harlem community, I'm going to say the west of the Harlem community, and if you didn't have a TV set, you probably would not even know the devastation that was going on past 34th Street. Over on the east side, there was a lot of flooding. There was a lot of people who was, put out their homes. They had to be evacuated. As you see on the news, in Jersey, there was a lot of people had to be evacuated. In Long Island, it was crazy. And one thing that administration of Harlem Hospital realized is that, we need to start getting things out, especially when it comes to the opening and the closing of the clinics, inpatient services. We make decisions on an administrative level, but a lot of times it's not put out to the community, and the community finds out when they walk to the hospital and they realize that a clinic or something is closed. So Ms. Denise Suarez, the executive director at Harlem Hospital, this is now going to be a platform for that. So whenever there's going to be severe, crazy weather, or if there's going to be a disaster, we're going to make sure that the community knows what's going on at Harlem Hospital. Now, just by saying all that, I just want to mention that because of this nor'eastern that took place, a lot of changes has taken at Harlem Hospital in the ambulatory care and the clinic. So one thing I want to mention to everybody that as of tomorrow, Friday, November 9th, the Ronald H. Brown, there's going to be full ambulatory care operations from 8 to 4. The walk-in clinic, the walk-in medicine clinic is going to be open from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the pharmacy is going to be open all day. It's going to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This weekend, Saturday, the walk-in clinic, the walk-in primary medicine clinic will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The pharmacy all day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Sunday, the ambulatory care will be closed, but Fast Track will be open. Fast Track is a section in our emergency department where you can go and get yourself, get some information, get yourself checked without having to wait 4 or 5 hours to be seen by a doctor, because as many people may not know is that the doctors in the emergency room are going to address more critical patients that come in with life-threatening issues. They're going to address those patients first before they address patients with like the common cold or, I stubbed my toe. But that's why they have Fast Track. Fast Track is where you can go when the clinic is not open. And on Sunday, that's going to be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And lastly, on Monday of next week, the clinic, the primary medicine clinic, is going to be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and the pharmacy from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm going to stick this information on our Facebook page. So as of tomorrow, if you type in Health in Harlem, boom, my picture will pop up. Maurice's picture will pop up. Two sexy men. I always got to say that. And I'm going to have that information right there for you. So again, whenever there's severe weather, whenever there's a disaster, or just in general, when services at Harlem Hospital change, we're going to make sure that the community knows about it through this segment, Health in Harlem. I just said a whole lot. Yes, my mouth is dry. So Vanessa, we have 5 minutes before commercial. Can you continue enlightening the community on this deadly disease, hepatitis C?
Yeah, I want to talk a little about HIV and hepatitis C co-infection.
Okay.
Co-infection is a term we use when a person has 2 or more diseases at the same time. Since someone can get HIV and hepatitis C in the same ways, as many as 3 out of 10 people with HIV also have hep C. Having both diseases can make it harder to manage your health than just having the one disease. So I wanted you to know that at Harlem Hospital, our infectious disease clinic, the Harlem Family Center, we do treat people that are co-infected. So if you have HIV, and remember I told you that we test all of our people with HIV for Hep C. If you do have both, if you do have the co-infection, then you can be treated for both right there in our clinic. So your primary care provider is there, your provider taking care of your hepatitis C, your HIV, it's all in one place. It's one-stop shopping.
Excellent.
And, you know, we have a whole host of services in our HIV clinic in the Harlem Family Center, but that's another show. But I just wanted
coming up soon.
I just wanted everyone to know that we are very unique, that we do have the services. You know, I went to a conference in Atlanta, and the one thing that people were upset about was when they had HIV and Hep C, they were having a hard time getting from one doctor to the other.
Seriously?
And coordinating the services. Because, you know, some medication interacts with other medications, counter interacts with other medications. So it's very important to have a doctor that's on the same page with all of your healthcare issues. So I want people in New York to know that they are very lucky to have a place where you can be treated for both.
Excellent. I'm curious to know why. Do you know any reason why you have to go to two different doctors instead of just going to one doctor?
Well, okay. So you go to your medical doctor and you just have hepatitis C. Your doctor is going to refer you to a specialist.
Got you.
A gastroenterologist or GI specialist. Okay, so that's the route that most people go to. So they see their primary provider for their regular medical care. And then if they have special needs like your cardiologist, your GI specialist, you know, you go to those doctors who specialize in that issue. But when you have HIV at Harlem Hospital, you can get care for your HIV and your hepatitis C in the same place because Harlem has a program to treat both. And we have support groups, and we have a wonderful public health educator who works with the patients, who informs them about their treatment options and being adherent to their medication. So there's a very good support system, as well as medical care. There's also support.
Yeah, and one thing I definitely want to mention to the community is that, you know, especially when it comes to HIV and AIDS, or when it comes to hepatitis C, you know, an individual may know that they may have the disease, but they don't want to seek treatment or they don't want to talk to nobody because they're embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? As we said before, and I'm just throwing it out there, is that HIV and AIDS, and I'm going to say hepatitis C. You know, it's not a homosexual disease.
No.
It's not a heterosexual disease. It's not an African American disease. It's not Jewish. This is a human disease.
Exactly.
And anybody can get it.
And there are things that people, if you put your head in the sand, you're still going to get hit by the bus. You just won't see it coming. So you might as well.
I love that analogy.
You might as well, you know, take care of yourself. You know, things to remember. Everyone, if you have hepatitis C or HIV, don't worry too much.
Yeah.
There are things that you and your doctor can do to stay healthy.
Correct.
Make sure you get your shots to protect yourself. Get your Hep A and your Hep B shots if you need it, especially if you're a healthcare provider. And there are medications that can cure hepatitis C. Remember, talk to your doctor to find out what treatment is right for you. Don't let anybody who is not a professional provider, licensed doctor, tell you what to do. You can ask questions. You can go on the internet. You can research. You can find out things for yourself. Be an advocate for yourself.
Correct.
You know, the one thing we learned from this election is that if you're an advocate and you're an information warrior, you can get the job done. And we have to sometimes turn that into for ourselves and get the job done so that we can stay healthy. And, you know, being well is an objective of Harlem Hospital. You know, I know it's a hospital and people say you go there when you're sick, but no, our major objective is for people to be well.
And my thing is like this: if you do ask questions of your primary care physician, as I always say, and they be around the bush and they don't want to answer, or they're giving you a hard time, you know what? It's time to get another primary care physician. There's too many physicians out there who will assist you and will talk to you and will answer all your questions. So if you have one who's like, you know, who's giving you a hard time, find another one.
And remember, you know, in the United States, there's 4 million people who are infected with chronic hepatitis C.
4 million?
3 million are undiagnosed.
That is 4 million, 3 million undiagnosed?
Exactly.
That's a mess.
And I wanted to also let you know that there is a new rapid test. There is a lot of people in the community, especially in the Harlem community, when you have outreach events and they're doing HIV testing and Hep C testing. So people can get tested, find out their status, but you always have to follow up. Please, if you find out your status, follow up with a medical doctor so you can get confirmatory testing and find out what course is right for you.
Well, Vanessa, I want you to hold that thought for a minute because we're going to come right back to that. You're listening to Health in Harlem on WHCR 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Again, questions, comments, suggestions, please give us a call, 212-650-6903. That's 212-650-6903.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Are you a singer, a musician, or a producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio.
Greetings. This is Honey from Harlem 411. Tune in to Harlem 411 Friday nights at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for information on health, education, housing, community events, and more. Harlem 411 serves information to you with the opportunity to call in with your questions. Harlem 411 produced to serve the community's needs. Let us serve you with information. Friday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Harlem 411.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
You know what, Vanessa? If I could sing, because I can't sing, I would be singing the theme song right now because I don't have it, and I'm upset about it, but I'm going to get over it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is the fourth segment of Health in Harlem, WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. And again, this is Vanessa Austin. She's from the HIV clinic at Harlem Hospital Center, and we're talking about hepatitis C. So, Vanessa, for our last couple of minutes, can you just please give the listening audience a summary, if you will, as far as what we discussed?
Yeah, the management and care of hepatitis C has come a long way in the last decade. While we have still a lot of unanswered questions, we have a much better understanding of hepatitis C, the transmission, prevention, disease progression, and the treatment. So we want people to understand that there is a risk in the African American community because of people coming from different countries, because of sanitation issues, because of the disparity in healthcare, because of poor diet, the toxins that are in our environment naturally, working conditions. There's so many things that put us at risk. And being in a lower socioeconomical position is the main reason. And and the disparity of healthcare. We don't get our healthcare the way other populations get their healthcare. We get it through the emergency room for the most part. And we have to change that ideal. We have to change our paradigm and shift it into thinking about staying well. You know, when we have patients who come into us very ill, within a couple of weeks sometimes they turn around and they get healthy and they feel so much better and their life changes. So we have to think about what do we do to stay well. And hepatitis C is a big issue in our community. It's a big conversation. There's a lot of agencies that are addressing it now. One of our community partners, Coalition on Positive Health Empowerment, they cope. They're one of our community partners. They'll be doing Hep C testing. So we've got to get tested. We've got to find out what's going on with us, and we've got to get help and get into medical care.
You know, so that's kind of crazy because I'm listening to what you're saying. So basically, you're saying that hepatitis C is an increase of this disease in African Americans, and it's not because of genetics. It's basically because of the way that we live our life and our lifestyle.
Yes,
that's crazy. And basically, you're saying if we just do the basic things, and as we talk all the time on this show, eat healthy,
safer sex.
Eat healthy, yes, safer sex. Eat healthy, safer sex, exercise, drink water, limit smoking.
Limit substances and alcohol.
And drugs and smoking. And, if you just, the basics, if you do the basics, you can prevent not only catching this disease, but developing other comorbidities, like diabetes, hypertension, cancer. I mean, it's crazy how just doing the basic things.
People don't understand that diet plays such a huge role in staying well. What we put in our mouths is so important, fighting age and cancer. And, your health background, that what we eat has a big, you walk in a supermarket in our community, and what do you see when you first walk in? You see candy and cookies and cakes and
processed
pies.
Foods.
But when you walk into a supermarket that's not in our community, the first thing you see is fruit and vegetables and healthy things.
You're right.
And nuts.
You're right. And you're absolutely right. Now, would you say that it's getting, especially in our community, would you say that it's getting a little better? It's getting better.
It's getting better. I would say it's getting better because we're demanding it. We're getting more informed. We're getting to understand what we need and how we need to stay well. And we're also fighting for the fact that it's not going to be, shouldn't be so expensive to get good food.
You're right.
Why is it expensive to get fresh food?
You notice I went to the supermarket, no offense, and I went to buy a gallon of milk, and it was like almost $5.99.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Exactly. But if you wanted to buy a container of Yoo-Hoo, it's on sale 2 for $5.
Yes, I hear that. So Vanessa, if the listening audience, if they wanted more information, if they wanted to know who to call, where can they go? Any websites, telephone numbers?
There is a wonderful website called the Hepatitis C Support Project, and that's at www.hcvadvocate.org. And it has very simple fact sheets. You can find out any and all the information that you want to know about Hep C. But I can tell you the best thing to do is to go to your doctor, get tested, ask questions, and get the information straight from the professional, because you're going to have a personal dialogue with your doctor. If you want more information about Hep C and HIV, our clinic and the services that we offer, you can call us at Harlem Hospital at 212-939-2910. We'd be happy to answer your questions and direct you. If you're not a patient for our clinic, if you're mono-infected and you need to go to Harlem Hospital to the gastroenterologist or to, we'll give you the numbers to hook you up where you can go and see your provider and then get referred.
And again, what's that number again?
The number for the Harlem Family Center, because we don't call it the HIV clinic, because we treat infectious diseases, all infectious diseases.
Got you.
Tuberculosis, hepatitis, HIV. You don't know what someone's infected with, or if they're infected with anything, if they feel they've had a risk.
You're right.
If you come to our clinic. So it's called the Harlem Family Center, because we're a family and we center it around you.
I love that.
So the number is 212-939. 2910.
And then one last thing I want to say, if you go to this clinic or put it like this, any clinic that you go to or your primary care physician, whatever you discuss, it should be confidential.
Exactly.
They have something that's called HIPAA, and that individuals, medical providers, clinicians are not allowed to
share your
information with anybody without your consent.
Exactly.
Not at all.
And make sure that you get tested with a reputable person. Make sure that you go to a hospital, a reputable hospital,
Correct.
like Harlem Hospital, or a reputable agency, and get your test. And make sure that you have consented for your test, because you have to have consent to do this test. They can't just test you.
Correct.
Don't think that your doctor just ran the test and you didn't know about it. You would know about it because you would have signed the consent.
And real quick, because you're talking about testing, whether it's HIV, hepatitis, let's just say, how old do you have to be in order to come to the clinic to be seen or to be checked? Is there a certain age you have to be?
Well, for our Harlem Family Center, you can be any age, but if you're not with a parent, you have to be at least 13 for us to do HIV testing. 13.
Very young. Because you know, compared
well, they're very young having sex. They're very young.
I was about to say that. I'm about to say
they're
that.
They're very young. So if you're 13 and up and you feel that you're at risk, come to the Harlem Family Center and get your test.
You're right. And I'm going to say that, you know, our youth, compared to 20 years ago, they are up on it. They know exactly what's going on, what to do, how to do, you know, and they might not want to share that with their parents. So, you know,
we're there for you. At Harlem Hospital, you can get an HIV test in any of our clinics. You can get it when you come to get a pregnancy test. You can get it when you come to the medical clinic. You can get it in the emergency room.
Excellent.
You can get it in the chest clinic. You can get it in surgery clinic. You can get an HIV test practically anywhere you are in Harlem Hospital.
In the hospital.
You just have to ask.
Excellent.
And you have to be 13 and above, and you can get the test confidentially. The information, all the information you want to know. Some young people just come to us and get tested because they want the information.
Excellent.
And they don't have anyone to talk to.
Excellent.
And we'll give them the truth.
Right.
So they can walk out and give the truth
Right.
instead of the lies that's passed around. Because part of our problem in our community is misinformation. We give you the accurate information, we teach you how to take care of yourself, and we empower you to go on. So it's harmony, hope, optimism, and empowerment.
Sister, you better preach. You better preach to the community. I love it. I love it. Vanessa, I would like to thank you for coming on to the show. I would like to thank you for being my support. So out of everything that we talked about, if there's one thing that you want the audience to go away with, what would it be?
Stay well. Take care of yourself. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
Hey, I feel you on that one. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Health in Harlem at 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem. And my boy Maurice is going to be back. And I want to say thank you. I want to give a shout out real quick and a thank you to Valerie Wright, who is the producer of this show. And without her, we would not be able to get a last minute guest like Miss Austin. This show is dedicated to Gloria Thomas and Harlem. Good night. Thank you. Be well. Stay warm.
Peace.
And I'll be talking to you next week.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Righteous, can't you see the sign of the time we're living in? Got to use it every day. It's what we need today. Whoa. We got to use it every day. It's what we need today. Wisdom and knowledge will guide you through. Don't you be the devil too. no, you can't guide a people without a vision. You shall surely go astray. The Bible can teach you wisdom, whether you wise or you dumb. An elder can teach you wisdom, whether you're old or you're young. Oh, wisdom, oh, wisdom, oh, wisdom. Only a fool trust in his own eye and disregard correction. You got to be humble, free from anger, and your days shall be low. You gotta use every day. It's what we need today. Gotta use it, yeah. Every day. That's what we need today. Oh, wisdom. All right now. Oh, wisdom. Hey.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League of the World. As you are aware, the world in which we live today is divided into separate race groups and distinct nationalities. Each race and each nationality is endeavoring to work out its own destiny to the exclusion of other races and other nationalities. We hear the cry of England for the Englishman, of France for the Frenchman, of Germany for the German, of Ireland for the Irish, of Palestine for the Jews, of Japan for the Japanese, of China for the Chinese. We of the Universal Negro Improvement Association are raising the cry of Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. The great problem of the Negro for the last 500 years has been that of disunity. No one or no organization ever succeeded in uniting the Negro race.
Was done for 300 years, the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men, you can shackle the feet of men, you can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Turn them down, turn them down. Words from Marcus Messiah Gabby. Words, sound and power, power. They do not know what we are capable of. They do not know what they're thinking. They're thinking in terms of dreadnoughts, battleships, aeroplanes, submarines. You know what we're thinking about? That is our own private business. Turn them down. Turn them down. Words from Marcus Messiah Gabby. Words, sound and power, power. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt. Because classes, nations, races have been quite for over 4 centuries, who have merely borne abuse, insult, humiliation, whose forbearance can only be compared to the prophet Job, has likewise lifted his bowed head and raised it up to God's skies and cried out, I am a man, and demand a man's chance and a man's treatment in this world. But I shall teach the black man, I shall teach the black man to see beauty in his own kind and stop bleaching his skin and otherwise looking like what he's not.
African freedom, African freedom, chant them down, chant them down.
God made man Lord of his creation, gave him possession and ownership of the world. And you have been so darn lazy that you've allowed the other fellow to run away with the whole world, and now he's bluffing you and telling you that the world belongs to him and that you have no part in it. I don't have to apologize to anybody for being black, because God Almighty knew exactly what he was doing when he made me black. If black people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves. Yes, you heard of Johnny Walker Red and black. Well, he had his adversities, but he's still going strong. Well, I intend with your help and God's grace to continue, because my work has only just begun. And future generations shall have in their hands the guide by which they shall know the sins of the 20th century. I know, and I know you too believe in time, but we shall wait patiently for 200 years if need be to face our enemies through our posterity. When my enemies are satisfied, in life I shall come back, or in death even to serve you as I served before. In life I shall be the same, in death I shall be a terror to the foe.
Want them, chant them down, chant them down. Yahweh, Mosiah, Yahweh.
If death has power, then count on me to be the real Marcus Garvey I would like to be. If I may come in an earthquake or a plague or a pestilence, or as God would have me, then be assured that I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you. Will I not go to hell a million times for you? If I die in Atlanta, my work will only just then begin. For I shall live in the physical or the spiritual to see the day of Africa's glory. When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise up first with God's grace and blessing, to lead the millions of the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there is storm, look for me all around you, for with God's grace I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa, to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
African freedom, African freedom and liberty. Chant them down, chant them down. Yahweh, Yahweh, Mosiah, Yahweh. Chant them down, 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 down.
Our great scholars having passed through the colleges and universities have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it, Assyria did it, France under Napoleon did it, Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it, England under America under George Washington did it, Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles.